Today's topic for Free Tool Friday is the power of your voice. Now, that might sound strange, but I like to look at where we are overlooking things and say, I think we should be focusing on being able to get more efficiency out of this one area because we're using it all the time. And I'm saying maybe if we just are a little bit better with this tool, does it dramatically increase our results in the long run? And I believe the answer is yes. I believe you should believe the answer is yes, because when you think about it, when you think about the basis of humanity, communication, being able to get what's in here to there, and the more efficiently I can do that, the more likely you are to believe me. And when we think about sales, when we think about growing your practice, when we think about being able to get someone from where they are, the problem, the pain, the things that they're suffering from, and get them to where they want to be, the enjoyment, the freedom, more money, whatever the case may be, the bridge between these two things is how efficiently you can communicate the results, the value of what you have that will take them from where they are to where they want to be. And efficient communication, yes, we can talk digital. Yes, we can talk about all of the different things that we have at our disposal that allow us to communicate more frequently in a digital setting. But if we're being painfully honest, and you know I love my honesty, if we're being painfully honest, we know that when it comes time to build enough trust to get someone to invest in a monthly service, again, dream client conversations, not price shoppers, dream client conversations. When you have those conversations, well, they have to be done with your voice. You have to be able to know when to elevate the conversation and bring a little more energy into it and pick up your tempo, be able to make eye contact with the camera. And maybe also when you're thinking about what to say next, even though you know what you're going to say next, because you've got your processes so well built in your sales presentation, but you still use that dramatic pause at the right moment to build that suspense, not that high pressure, silent close crap. We don't play those games. No need to play those games. And what about the humor, right? The laughter that you can bring, the enjoyment, the emotion that you can show someone by consciously choosing the way that you conduct yourself. And I brought this particular Free Tool Friday up today because I watched a clip from Tony Robbins recently. Love me some Tony. Won't go too deep into any Tony Robbins stories, but just to suffice to say, he's the reason my father essentially kicked drugs and alcohol and built a multi-million-dollar consulting firm. So thank you, Tony. But point is Tony was saying that people would come up to him and they'd say, "Oh, you know, Tony, I'm so nervous around other people." And he'd go, "Okay." And then other people would come up to Tony and they'd say, "Tony, I'm so angry all the time and I don't know why." And he'd say, "Okay." And then he'd say, "You know, then there's these other people who are like so upbeat all the time and they're just so much fun to be around." And Tony says, "Okay, well, let's just look at the way you're operating, the way your body is performing, and the way you're using your voice to convey the emotions that you are currently experiencing." And when you have a dream client opportunity and you have that certainty, C4 sales methodology, and you're curious about where they are in their life, and you bring those emotions into the conversation, it shows them the type of person that 99% of people want to do business with. Someone who has certainty in what they have to offer, believes in their value because they know the results it's capable of generating, is genuinely curious about that person and how their results can be deployed to impact their situation. They're so curious that they go, oh man, that person's interesting. Funny story about curiosity. Curiosity is the type of thing where if you are just willing to ask questions, if you're just willing to do that one thing, and I'm not asking you to be like Sherlock Holmes or like some crazy detective. I'm asking you to just have a question bank ready to go and memorize it, or be willing to ask the questions that people ask you back to them. Hey, how you doing today? Good. Hang up the phone, right? Like, good. Okay, so what's next here is, right? It's just like, man, give me a little something to work with. But again, questions are fascinating because you could tell someone nothing about yourself, literally nothing about yourself. And they would leave that conversation having thought you are an incredibly interesting person just simply because you were so invested in learning about them and their situation. That has happened to me many times where I've come out of a conversation and be like, that person's really interesting. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think they told us anything about themselves. Why would I think they're so interesting? Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they were genuinely interested in me. Therefore, they become an interesting person. So again, what we're doing here is we're looking at the various ways that you can use your voice to be able to create an environment that creates the desire to buy from your dream clients. Questions, dramatic pauses, being able to practice certain phrases as opposed to feeling like you need to jump into the next thing and move super quick. And see, I immediately went to but if I slow down a little bit, not only do you anticipate each word more, you're more interested. I have a more cohesive approach to my language, right? It's more fluid. There's less interruption. And that makes every word I choose to say have more impact and ultimately be seen as more valuable. And this is a skill you can learn. And this is what I mean by your voice is something that if you do lives, if you record your Zoom calls, if you just consciously think about the way you enjoy other people's speech and you watch them and you go, well, what are they doing that's keeping me engaged? What is that? That's a question, right? What is keeping me engaged? What is keeping you engaged to me right now? Is it frequency? Is it tone? Is it valuable lessons? Is it the way I conduct myself with my camera? Is it the way I have my background? All of these things add. But the key factor is the voice. It's the voice that makes a huge difference in whether or not people are interested or not. Funny, I had a call with a new client, Create Your Dream, with a Practice Igniter client. And he said, Tyler, I said, hey, why'd you buy Practice Igniter? And there's a larger lesson to this, but I said, why'd you buy Practice Igniter? And what he said was, well, I attend a lot of CPA Academy webinars, and normally I'll just put them off to my screen on the side. And I'll do something else. And then, of course, the questions pop up and boop, I drop my answer. I go back to what I'm doing. And he said, but your energy was so high. You were just like going, delivering value. And it's like, yes, because you are either going to listen to me or you're going to need to turn me off. It has to be one of the two. You're either going to be listening because I'm so engaging with how I'm moving and what I'm doing and what I'm saying, and it's all mapped out. It's a process. Every single thing that you do in your business, if you want more efficiency, it needs to be processed out. And that goes to your sales presentations and the way you run them, how you run potential engaging videos like this, your scripts, right? Yeah, there's variation in them, of course, but 80% of it is going to be the same. 20%, yeah, variance, of course. But always living by 80-20. Always living by it. Okay. So again, voice. Whenever you feel yourself, maybe a little bit down, okay? And this is natural, right? I mean, life is a series of peaks and valleys. You're going to have your high points, your big successes. I just got that client, or I just lost that client, or personal family problems, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Something outside of your control. It's just like dragged you down. It is so critical that when you get ready to engage with someone for the first time, that you leave that outside of that interaction. Now, that might sound hard to do, but the truth is that it's not. And I'll give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but anytime I get ready to do a webinar, and Maureen will tell you this, what I do, and you will do the same thing, I will literally, like, I don't want to say I shout, but it's pretty close to shouting. And when I'm just amping myself up, I'll like hit my chest. I'll like start just like amping my body up so that it forces my mind to come along on the ride. And then I also look at my dream board. And what happens is my brain starts going, oh yes, that is the opportunity that's in front of me. Doesn't matter if I've got 10 people on a webinar or 200 people on a webinar. It doesn't make a difference. You bring the noise. And you bring the noise by getting yourself pumped up by any means necessary. Same thing's true ahead of a sales call. Now, this might be different. You might be so excited or anxious or nervous that it feels almost like it's a paralyzing thing. So you need to go the opposite direction. As opposed to feeling like you need to bring the energy, you might need to actually slow it down. You might need to take that deep breath, get your water, review your notes, make sure your pen works, right? All the little things that might be causing some type of anxiety or those feelings that might be just building up some tension in you. There's a process that you will start to use, right? A practice that will mitigate those things, but allow you to harness the associated energy that comes from excitement, right? Excitement can lead to nervousness, but excitement can also lead to a lot of positivity. And if you can just clamp a little bit down on nervousness and allow the excitement and the positive energy to come up as a result, that's a wonderful outcome. That's a fantastic outcome. Last thing that I want to share with on language. So I've talked a lot about particularly tone, tempo, and also the way you can use your voice in different capacities to create an atmosphere, essentially, a buying atmosphere, which is what you want. But the other thing that's really important is if you can say what you need to say in 10 words instead of 100 words, which do you think you should pick? Do you think you should pick the 10 words that get your point across or the 100 words? It's why I don't do hour-long lives. It's why you don't see me just going into your Facebook stories and just blah, 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 blah. Like I see people doing that and I'm just like, okay, I like it. It's fine. It's content. I appreciate it to a certain extent. But time is a commodity. It's the most valuable commodity. And so when you have the opportunity to express your value, the words you choose to use, the precision of language matters. And I'll give you an example very quickly. So I was on a coaching call right before this started, essentially, and the guy that I was speaking with says, well, Tyler, we're talking about his ideal dream client. And I said to him, okay, well, define that person. And he said a couple of good things. And then he said, essentially, I want people who know my value. And again, this is prospective clients. And I said, they don't know it yet. And I said, that's a small thing for me to key in on, but it's such an important thing for us to understand. If they knew your value already, they'd already be buying it. If they knew your value already, they'd be buying it from another accountant because it would be known. The truth is they don't know. They have no idea the power of an accounting, bookkeeping, or tax professional in their corner who knows their shiznak. They have no idea. So when you say, well, my ideal client is someone who sees that, and I say, no, because they don't know that yet. Yeah, eventually they will, but the prospective client doesn't know that. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can communicate our results to them, what our results will be for their life, because what they care about is not value. Results is what they care about. And your value is the results you're capable of delivering. Now, again, precision of language matters because if you say the wrong thing, even in just the slightest way, not only does it impact the way you understand it, it impacts the way other people perceive and understand what you have to say. So this is the mission critical part of reviewing what you say. Even what I just said, how I explain results, value, perception versus how we express it, I'm going to review that. I don't know if it came through as clearly as it is in my brain right now. And there's a good chance that it wasn't as good as it could have been. And I'll listen to it and I'll say, sounded good when it came out. Didn't sound good when it came back. So again, you get better at this the more you're willing to practice it, but you have to practice it with the mentality that you're practicing. That literally it's the type of thing that you get better when you analyze it. And for analytical oriented brains such as yourselves, that should be pretty fun. So with that being said, your voice is the most powerful tool you have. It's 100% free, and you can make it better every single day if you're simply willing to take the time to study what other people are doing, why they're engaging you, why you're buying from them, why you're listening to them, and also take the time to record your own presentations, your own conversations, your own videos, and say, that didn't sound the way I thought it did. I think I can do better. And the good news is you will do better the next time around. So with that being said, I want to say thank you. Hashtag FTF in the comments section down below. We're going to have a fantastic Free Tool Friday next week, specifically on how you build systems. This is going to be a masterclass. I'm really excited to share that with you. You're going to have a free download that's going to come along with that as well. And if you love Free Tool Friday, give me hashtag FTF down below. And remember that only you can make your dream firm a reality, but I'm here to help you every single step of the way. I'll see you all next week and have a fantastic, fantastic weekend, everyone.